of you know, America doesn't throw an election, so we figured what better thing to do with our time than to quiz our fellow Americans on how well they really know this government. So we went around to a friendly neighborhood and asked them basic questions on our Bill of Rights. Now, if you don't know what this is, our Bill of Rights are the first 10 amendments in the Constitution that basically lay out our rights as American citizens. And even though there are only 10, let's see how many people really knew what they are. What are the Bill of Rights?
Oh, Bill of Rights. There are various Bill of Rights. Which ones are we talking about?
The Bill of Rights are the First Amendment, right? I think they're the First and Second Amendments. I don't know. I think so.
I think it's part of. It's not part of the Constitution.
So they didn't do so hot. Now, our First Amendment lays out our civil liberties, which are basically our freedom of religion, our freedom of press, to assemble, to petition, and our freedom of speech. Let's see how many people knew what these were. What are civil liberties?
Civil liberties, I don't really know.
No idea.
What do you think they are?
Something that they should be able to do, like practice their religion, practice their faith.
Let me Google.
Wow. Okay, civil liberties are, I guess once again, the rights of the citizens, the inalienable rights of the citizens.
Our Second Amendment gives us the right to bear arms, which, if you don't know, this means the right to own a gun to protect yourself. Let's see how many of our citizens watch a lot of cop shows and know what the Second Amendment is. What does it mean to have the right to bear arms?
The right to own a weapon or gun.
Means that you can have a gun and you can use it as you see fit.
Yeah, legally you can use it to go
Legally.
hunting, or you have the right to have firearms.
Now, the Third Amendment is a tricky one, I'll give you that. I'm not a history buff, I don't think you guys are either, but it basically makes sure that if we're ever invaded by another country, we can't be forced to house soldiers in our home. Because in the past, when the British were fighting against France, the colonists were forced to provide shelter for these soldiers. So let's see how many people knew this. What does it mean to be forced to quarter soldiers in your home?
I believe that was from the Revolutionary War, but that they could force you to house and feed soldiers and put them up in your house.
Quarter soldiers. Illegally bring, I mean not illegally, but bring soldiers in the house for something not related to a crime, but something more, maybe something to do with religion or faith.
I am not sure, the details of it, but...
Now, our Fourth Amendment protects us from unreasonable search and seizure, which basically says that we can't be searched, meaning our houses or our person or our belongings can't be searched without a warrant or probable cause by law enforcement. So I'm assuming people would know what this is. Let's check it out. What is unreasonable search and seizure?
To be stopped on your basis of race or gender.
I guess that things are taken from your home by a police authority.
So the Fifth Amendment protects you from self-incrimination, which means you can't be forced to say anything that could hurt you later on in trial about a certain crime. So say, for example, I was arrested for robbing a bank and I was caught for it. The police have to read me my Miranda rights, which means I have the right to remain silent. Remember that from all those crime shows? Also, it ensures double jeopardy, which means I can't be accused of that same crime twice. So let's see how many of these people watch their crime shows and know about the Fifth Amendment. What is self-incrimination?
Self-incrimination, this is like generally being stupid and leaving evidence on yourself, right?
People can accuse you, but that doesn't mean you did it. It's until it's proved, you're still not guilty.
So the Sixth Amendment ensures a speedy trial, which means after robbing that bank, I won't be sitting in jail for months and months waiting to get that trial to get out. Now, it's not as well known by a lot of us, but let's see how many people here did. What does it mean to have a speedy trial?
A speedy trial. I assume a trial that's fast, or pushed through quickly for some political reason.
Well, that's a tough question. Speed, I guess, is the speed to the truth. It's quicker to go to trial and get the truth, I guess.
Now, the 7th is pretty similar to the 6th, but it adds that we have the right to an attorney and a jury in a trial. So basically, we all have a fair chance. So how do people react to the term trial by jury? What does it mean to have a trial by jury?
It would mean that if you are accused of a crime, that you have a jury, or you have a trial in front of a jury of your peers.
That you have your peers decide with the evidence whether you are guilty or not guilty of a certain crime.
So the 8th Amendment protects us from cruel and unusual punishment. So all those crime shows we watch, the sketchy torture scenes, that's cruel and unusual punishment because it goes against human morals. It also protects us from excessive bail. So that bank I supposedly robbed, I'm not going to have a bail set at $20 million unless the punishment matches the crime. So let's see how many of these people were caught up on their crime shows. What is cruel and unusual punishment?
Cruel and unusual punishment, you know, like if they wanted to gouge your eyes out or chop your hand off.
Okay, if a rapist or a child abuser is given life imprisonment or, I don't know, maybe castrated, that wouldn't be cruel to me. That is very reasonable for what they did. But him getting away for something short, that's not reasonable. But maybe I didn't answer it right. Cruel and unreasonable.
So the 9th Amendment is pretty simple. We have more rights than are listed in the Constitution. And with a changing society, we kind of have to, right? So if I wanted to get a job, or if I wanted to dye my hair green, I could do that. And the government can't take away these rights that aren't listed in the Constitution. So take a look and see how many people know this. Are all of our rights listed in the Constitution?
Not everything can be listed in the Constitution, in my opinion.
All of our rights are listed in the Constitution.
I would assume that they are.
I would say no.
I think they are.
Now, the 10th Amendment gives the powers to the states. So the states can regulate education. They actually conduct elections. They're the ones in charge of it, not the federal government. And a lot of people don't know this, so check it out and see how many people did. Our 10th Amendment gives the powers to the states. Do you know an example of this power?
I do not. I have to come up with them. Powers to the states, is that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that maybe they can make up their own laws for their own state.
I believe things like schools, education.
Like a state punishment. That's what I'm understanding.
I'm Karen Bashad, and that's our pedestrian question for tonight on the Bill of Rights. If you like this video, click below and subscribe to our channel. If not, do nothing at all. Just click more below to subscribe to our channel and oh, I messed it up, didn't I?
Yeah, but it was looking good.
Now our 5th Amendment, says that we have the right to a jury and an attorney.
You have the right to have
Now the 5th Amendment protects you from self-regulation. So they didn't do so hot. So let's see how our first one. Nope.